Sometimes I can record myself a lot lately. See how I look. Doing things. I wonder what my husband thinks is cute. You know, little things. Eating chicken. And what I think is cute about myself. I do love chicken. Depends on how you make it. Fried chicken. That's really nice. It's not my own chicken, but somebody told me about it. When I got here in Georgia, to Georgia actually, I started driving Lyft and Uber and started socializing. And it was different because I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. And I love raising my children. I did. Not with my husband at work all day, but he did come home. And wasn't the easiest trying to communicate what I did all day versus what he did all day. So you couldn't see it, and neither could I. It just so happens that I was tired of it. Tired of not connecting. Maybe he was tired or something. Tired. Has expectations. He probably has some as well. But they were mainly expression. You know, it was difficult to try to recognize who he was when he was at work. So it was like a blind spot in my understanding as to who he was and how he felt, and you know, other than, you know, what the news said or the movies, or not to say that that was the conversation, but the surrounding environment. So I just wanted to, I guess I did communicate things that were on TV, or we shared things that were on TV. When we got here to Georgia, we really could not socialize as well. Work schedule, it was something new for us. So it was difficult trying to communicate how to schedule that work schedule so that we could have our own personal time, because we had little children growing that had a schedule at school and a schedule at work. You know, I needed a schedule to do things with them. And then trying to find a way to, you know, understand God and our union with that, and how to do that wasn't easy. I'm wanting, you know, to go back home. We built a house together, prayed over it, all that stuff, and I never moved in. It's been hurting my feelings because I'm not sure, you know, how to communicate what I have been going through. Just trying to understand myself, and then, you know, my husband and my children, and how to treat others, what to say, what not to say, and, you know, just to be able to have my own personality and to have my own way without, you know, feeling like someone is trying to adjust that. You know, but there is, you know, something that, you know, that I haven't been able to get jiggy with, which is kind of like not saying I don't like work, but how to you know, ask God for help with it, because the idea of work was drummed into the television and TV shows and all of that, and how love should look, or, you know, what a woman should do, or what a man should do, or a child, or, you know, the schedule, work schedule. You hear other people's stories at work, or things they have to say about their particular life. Sometimes there are struggles, and sometimes there are not. And then I was hearing a lot of things that kind of disturbed me. You know, things like comparisons, and not necessarily comparisons, but, you know, why I wasn't doing certain things. And so, no, I just I couldn't be anybody else but myself. So, I was growing to understand what he liked and what he didn't like, So those things were, I thought about it today, this morning, because I used to be like, well, what does he think? What does he want? Like, what is his emotion? What are his emotions? And then I thought this morning, because I would ask him, what do you want to eat? He would just be like, whatever. And I would be like, well, why doesn't he just tell me exactly what he wants so I can make exactly what he wants? And then I thought about it, like, well, if he had told me exactly what he wants, then it would have felt like I was doing exactly what he wanted. You know what I mean? So, but I was trying to, babe, what do you want me to get from the store for you? What do you want particularly? And he would never say what he wanted, and then by the time I got everything in the house, like, I would buy everything just so he could at least, grab this, that, and whatever he wanted, and, I think he was, I think, not really, but I think he was feeling good about providing for me. And I couldn't see that part of his mind. I'm not saying I'm speaking for him or anything. I'm speaking for myself. But I was trying to provide as well, by way of, what do you want? So I can do it for you. But, on another level, it was like I had to think and process these thoughts this morning, because if he had said, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I would have gotten to a routine of that particular thing. But I did not really get a chance to know what does he like, certain things. So it was like I was like coming up with things, so, and I didn't particularly like it all that much all the time. So I did not know everything, he liked to eat, but he ate most of the food that I made. I mean, he liked it. When it came to me going vegan and doing all of that, those changes, growing and doing different things, I'm sure he questioned it, like, what is going on? But he never said anything much about it. I was, growing. I was fasting. Then I learned later that, when you're with the bridegroom, you don't need to fast. That's what he said to his disciples when they asked him, why are they not fasting? Well, I'm with Christ, so I don't need to fast. So I've asked God about what to eat. Am I eating things incorrectly? Because they used to have something called Ezekiel bread. So I thought that, you should eat it that way, because that is what the scripture mentioned. Oh, you should put this barley, blah, 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 and mix it together and make bread. Well, I asked God, am I eating incorrectly? Because it may have had an effect on my husband. Because I was growing and I wasn't always interpreting the scriptures correctly. And, how to eat healthy. Because, you want to, I guess, you want to know, what's going on with your food. What's going on with the food, so, that is what I did take a look at, how it started to, be manufactured, and, how the the chickens was eating and cows, what did they eat, and were they living in a healthy environment, so the food could go down well. I couldn't drink milk anymore. I called it lactose intolerant, but the cow milk just started to, not do well on my system. The taste, I don't know, God must have got rid of the taste of it. And it had nothing to do with the food itself. And so he showed me that it did not, was, you eat, the language that he chose to use was, I have meat that my Father has given me, like, nourishments for your soul. So while his disciples were trying to get him to eat something, he was like, I have something that my Father has given me, nourishment for my soul, in so many words. And so, this is what you should eat, and that is what you should eat, and because of this and that, and the other. I don't eat like that. I don't talk like that. I really don't socialize like that well at all. You might, and if you got stuck in a particular area that I don't have a clue on, but when I asked God for help with that, he helped me. As far as as far as things that I thought I needed help with, smoking, yeah, there was a time and a season for it, time for growth. And I was, socializing and smoking. I had no children at the time, and most of my friends did. I go over and they had children, so that could have been part of some of the issues I was having, because I did not have children. Simply because I probably wanted to go somewhere and they had children.
Head to Georgia 10.
And they probably had children and I did not, so it probably presented a little dilemma for me. And so when I did get my child at the time, I guess I separated, as most mothers might do, to take care of the child, get to know how to be a mother, and not to know how to be a mother, but to understand the baby and how to understand yourself with the baby. Take a shower, the baby's got to go to sleep, and then you got to take a shower, and then you got to figure out when, to get that shower so baby don't wake up, and all these things. So, get in the shower and getting the baby's food, I mean, you can't necessarily assume the baby's hungry, but if the child cries, you try to figure out what's wrong. And so that is how I began to explore my relationship with Jesus, because of my children. My children, I tried to think about how God would treat me, because I'm his child. So as I got the milk, I would think, wow, Jesus, will want to get me something too. He's Jehovah. So that is how I began with my baby Micah, and my son. I was actually still growing. out a lot, it's just me and him. And, sometimes I wondered, why, people didn't call at the time to come visit. Eric visited. There was probably things they were doing, which was growing. They didn't have children, and they did not understand, that I wanted to share and that connection with my son, and for him to meet them. He was really young, so he probably doesn't remember anyone or know anyone. So when we got here to Georgia, that is the part that I missed, was how raising him and not having a lot of help. My husband was in schooling. I did pretty well. He learned how to read at 10 months. Actually, he was reading before 10 months, but he was also walking and reading fairly early. And I never would have thought that he was actually doing that. I was proud. My baby could read at 10 months. And, I spent a lot of time with him. We played, There were some things that I wanted him to do, smile a lot. But I didn't know how to teach him how to smile. So, just things that I didn't understand how to do. Joke. Some things I did not know how to do. With him as a baby, obviously. He was young. So, how to make him smile and giggle and laugh and, do those things. I did not learn how to do that. So those are little moments that, I didn't know how to do. It's not because I didn't want to. It's just that I did not know how to make him laugh and giggle when he was younger, as a baby. My baby, Malaya, was born. I sought to change that. I had her with me, and she was with me in the bed. We would, I actually had a cell phone, and I put it in front of me in her space, and she saw herself, I think, and she began to look and observe, and I think I was, laughing with her and tickling her, and she was laughing, and I was loving every bit of it, and I do. And so, it was not the best experience, seeing, and trying to compare, if somebody else's kid was laughing or enjoying themselves, or they were just having this amazing relationship with their child. I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but I wanted my son to call me mom, but he did speak, but it was like I couldn't remember it, every detail of it. I put everything on camera. My husband has the camera now. I was in my vehicle, and I put everything, all his little moments, on camera, and I don't remember every single last one of them. And I tried to without the camera, so I don't always have the correct memories. But I took him everywhere with me. Emmanuel Jr. And he did not give me any pain whatsoever on my body or weight gain. He was the best child. I don't compare them, but the first child. So, you know, he was everything to me. You know, so, you know, when I start taking him around, you know, I was protective. You know, sometimes overly protective of him. And so, as a result, I did not socialize well with him. So those are things that I want to change, obviously, with him now. You know, a big boy. He's 9 now, going on 10. My daughter is 8 years old, and my baby Micah is 2, going on 3. And so my babies are not with me currently. That is something I can't wait to see them, because of you know, I just didn't, you know, when I came here to Georgia, as I've explained, you know, I did not know how to understand, you know, my husband as a doctor. You know, he had just gotten this degree, and he went to school almost 8 years, and he was excited about it, you know. And I was excited as well, but I did not know. I never viewed my husband as a doctor. Although he was going to school, study it, and all those things, I never viewed him as a doctor. So there were probably times when he wanted to receive encouragement as a doctor, and I did not know how to encourage him in it. So that was not necessarily the I guess way that I wanted to encourage him, but there was times that he said, you know, certain things that made me think he needed encouragement. But I just did not know how to walk around and say, you know, my husband's a doctor, or my husband a lot. So that was something that, you know, I'm not, you know, I wasn't really excited about. You know, I am excited that God brought him to me, more so now than ever, because in the beginning it was a learning experience, not necessarily understanding, you know, that he was the one and he was it. You know, because of me seeking to understand my heritage and to know, you know, what that meant for me and him. But I could not find it in, you know, ancestry, bloodlines, and all that. So those are things that will upset me, because I didn't know that part of myself. And so I do now. I'm more confident about myself. I'm more confident about how to see other people and understand other people. And I can share that with my children now. way that I close myself in to learn. In fact, God, kind of pushed me out. He didn't want me to stay there, to act like a wife, act like a mom, and not know certain details about myself, and to just continue on in a repetitive fashion on how to do things. So I didn't get that. I got my associates and all of that, but I didn't continue college or get my degree or sit there, because I was going to school for psychology, and sit there and figure out who got disease and what we call it, and mental health. I can't imagine what those conversations were like. I can't imagine, because I never got a chance to do it. No, God didn't let me do it, so He didn't allow me to finish, so I did not. I'm glad that I did not. I always thought that I would be able to listen to someone or help them, or understand them, or stuff like that. But I wasn't designed to do anything else other than what I'm doing. There was no plan to it, no organization, although I do love being organized, very organized. But not too organized to the point where I can't nourish my soul or feel like I can share parts of myself or not. So, I stopped cooking, stopped cleaning, stopped taking care of the kids.